conspiracy behind Wayfair. So I remember when this first was going on, a lot of people were all up in the air about it. Some people believed it, some people didn't believe it, and I happen to be one of those people that really didn't believe it. I thought there was no way that this huge corporation would use their website and certain items and certain coupon codes to possibly sex traffic kids. So I really never thought too much into it until one day something happened that actually changed my mind. So this happened about a year ago. So I work for a pretty well-known bank, and I remember we would always have this older lady come in, and anytime she came in, she would always do a cash deposit and immediately do a wire transfer. So one day I got a chance to help her, and I remember she did the cash deposit, which was like $13,000, all in cash, and immediately wanted to do a wire transfer. So when I started to help her, I remember the account number was written down on like a small piece of paper and the amount. So she was sending about 12,900 and like whatever cents to this account number. So I got to the part where I needed to type in who it was going to, and she told me it was going to Wayfair. And at first I really didn't think too much into it because she did have a business account, and I figured, well, maybe she's buying new furniture for her office or whatever. So after we were done, I started to go through her previous wire transactions just to see where all these other wires were going that she did prior. And they were all going to Wayfair. There was like 6 or 7 different wires that she was doing in the past like 60 days. And that's when I changed my mind. I knew that there was no way that this person that is always doing cash deposits and immediately doing a wire transfer afterwards to Wayfair, sending them thousands of dollars in 2 months, was buying furniture. There was no way. And I remember shortly after I reported the account just for like secondary review or whatever. And next thing I know, she never comes in again. I never see her again, ever.
Nobody needs to know.
Okay, so the guy Ryan is talking about is Stanley Mayer. He claimed to have invented a car that not only ran on water, but ran on a very little amount. He claimed his car would only need 83 litres of water or 22 gallons of water to travel from New York City to Los Angeles, which is 4 times the length of the UK. His engine broke down water into hydrogen, and it was the hydrogen that was used to run the car. He also claimed that it wouldn't need any maintenance or replaced. This would have been an inexpensive way to travel, which was not as damaging to the environment as regular oil. However, he then mysteriously died. According to his brother, his last words were, "They poisoned me." His death was then ruled only a cerebral aneurysm. His car was then later examined, but apparently there was nothing revolutionary about it. However, many people believe that this was a lie and that he was murdered to stop oil companies going out of business.
Did Poppy predict COVID? There's a few videos of her from a few years ago that just seem kind of weird now in 2020. I'm gonna put them in. In one of the videos, there's a video of her saying ICKYBABY, which is achy baby. An achy baby is something or someone that talks to her and warns her about stuff. And there's one clip in here where she says, "Is it Wednesday yet?" repeatedly. And people say that January 20th, 2021 is gonna be something big. And if you look here, January 20th of 2021 does fall on a Wednesday.
I don't know when, but the scary mask is coming. It told me so. This is how to apply your mask. Place the elastic bands around. I told you. I told you so. The mask is off. The game is over. Is it Wednesday yet? ICKYBABY.
Oh my god! Okay, you know how everybody thinks that Michael Jackson is still alive? And then there was that one girl who made that video saying that she thinks she saw Princess Diana at this like country club she works at. And then a bunch of people think that Elvis Presley is still alive. They're all connected and they ran away together! I didn't even ask to find this. This information found me. This random YouTube video got recommended to me today, and it was a news report after Michael's death that said that Michael's bodyguard said he thought that Michael was in love with Princess Diana because he would stay on the phone late at night with her for hours, and she was the only person who understood his struggle with the media and how he could never go into public. Michael Jackson dated Elvis Presley's daughter, so we already know that he has a connection. Diana loved Elvis so much that she had a dress designed after his style and calls it the Elvis dress. Elvis passed away August 16th, 1977. Diana passed away in the same month, August 31st, 1997, 20 years later. Michael was born in August, but passed away on this day. Like for part 2.
You guys, I think that Howie Mandel is being held captive. This might sound crazy, but in a recent TikTok video, Howie Mandel took out a random paper bag and labeled it shoe stuff, essentially making a DIY project. But this video is full of secret messages. Just in case he is actually being held captive, please signal boost his video, comment, follow, do whatever you can. You can see in this video that he's wearing a lifeguard hoodie, and on that hoodie, it gives away where he lives, Santa Monica. But also in this video, he points to the letters SOS in a triangle. Just look at this clip.
Can you see it? It says shoe stuff, shoe stuff.
If you didn't know, the letters SOS is to signal that you are in extreme danger. Just in case you missed it, let me replay it for you.
Can you see it? It says shoe stuff, shoe stuff.
If you really took a closer look at this video, you can also notice that the S's look like 5s. Look, 2 5s. And 2 5s make 55. And if you dial the number 55, it takes you directly to the police. It shows that you're being held captive or that there's an intruder in your house, and that you cannot talk. In part 2, he spells out the letter HELP.
What conspiracy theories are too logical to be ignored? Part 1.
David Miscavige, the chairman of the Church of Scientology, definitely murdered his wife and is getting off scot-free for it. Him and his wife got into a pretty heated argument in 2007, and she hasn't been seen since. Lawyers hired by David claim she is still alive and devotes 100% of her time to work at the Church of Scientology, which is why she hasn't been seen since August 2007. In 2013, a former member of the church had filed a missing person report that was closed after a few officers had spoken and seen Mrs. Miscavige, even though there's no evidence whatsoever of this meeting. All missing persons reports now are turned down since this investigation is forever closed.
What's a conspiracy theory that you 1000% believe in?
Okay, hear me out. It sounds weird. Mattress Firm is laundering money or doing something super sketchy. Mattress Firm likes to cluster their stores together. Just look. This is in my hometown. These are not even a minute apart from each other. There's 3 of them on the same road. Same city, same thing. And here, example again. Outside of my city, this is in Texas, there are 10 on the same road. I don't know how spread out these are, but 10. I've never been in a mattress firm my entire life. There can't be that much of a need for mattresses. The weird thing too, and you'll just have to take my word on this, when you drive past a mattress firm, there's never cars in the parking lot. And if there is, there's like maybe one. Maybe one. The Mattress Firm website says there's 2,500 stores across America and about 8,500 employees. That means there should be at least 3 people working a store. On top of that, they've disclosed accounting irregularities. Oh my god, I could talk about this all day.
This is how Kodak Black risked his life to expose the truth. The first thing he did was expose Hurricane Harvey.
The wind ain't got no name. Where the hell you think Hurricane Harvey from?
The second thing he did was expose that the government controls rain and told us that the government has underground bunkers.
These people control the rain. These people be digging bunkers up.
The third thing he did was expose the music industry, letting us know that you gotta sell your soul to get attention.
Like you gotta sell your soul for them to pay attention.
We all know that Kodak and X used to be friends, which is why when Kodak got locked up, X said this.
When they locked Kodak up, my nigga, I couldn't believe it.
When I made part 1, a lot of you guys were saying that when he got locked up, he came back as a clone. We all know that X lost his life trying to make change in the world. So maybe Kodak getting locked up, then coming back as a clone, was the industry's way of dealing with Kodak.
I risked my life for us, nigga, and I die for us, nigga.
Stoned ape theory. Now, it's not a theory, it's a hypothesis. And it speaks to a mystery. We have a suddenly doubling of the human brain. The brain cavity doubled in size in about 2 million years. There's no explanation for this currently. Now think of this. Our primate ancestors are going across the savannah. The most significant fleshy mushroom going out of poop in Africa is Psilocybe cubensis. You're hungry, you're with your clan, they ingest these mushrooms as a clan. Massive input for anyone who's eaten these mushrooms. Huge amounts of data is coming in. Fractal patterns, geometrical, landscapes occur. You have greater courage. We know now that it's been clinically proven, psilocybin allows you to reset and have different neurological pathways to respond to fear, overcoming the fear of conditioned response, potentially PTSD, and there's a lot of research on this currently. Hopkins University, as you probably well know, New York University, UCLA, elsewhere in Europe. But this wouldn't happen one time with one hominid group. It wouldn't happen 2 times, 10 times. It happened millions and millions of times over millions and millions of years. Even though we may not be able to prove it, I ask people to suspend their disbelief for a second.
The history.
Yo, I have another theory. You know Monster Energy?
Yeah.
So on the Monster Energy can, right? The symbol of the M.
It's a claw. It's supposed to be a claw.
It's supposed to be a claw.
Yeah.
Kinda. Every like line in the M, it doesn't attach. Have you noticed that? It doesn't attach. It doesn't all attach.
Yeah.
So that symbol that like it looks kind of like the number 1, it goes down.
Yeah.
That's actually a Hebrew symbol that translates to the number 6.
Okay.
So
it's
666.
No.
Now, Monster Energy, the O has a cross in it.
Yeah.
The O has a cross. Why would Monster have a cross in the drink?
I didn't even notice that.
Monster Energy, why would that have a cross? What does it have to do with like
Yeah.
nothing? So the point of putting the cross there in the O, when you drink it bottoms up, the cross goes upside down.
What?
Yeah.
Whoa. Thank God I've never drank Monster in my life.
It's crazy, bro.
What's a conspiracy theory that you 1000% believe in?
The ancient civilizations on Earth were far more advanced than we're being told, and that one of them possibly even thrived before our oceans even existed. Stay with me. In the spring of 2013, a gentleman was sailing his yacht around the Azores Islands, an autonomous region of Portugal, when he discovered a large pyramid underwater. They would find that this architectural marvel was 60 feet tall and bigger around than a football field. So naturally, I had to dig deeper, and as I did, I kept seeing pictures of it circled on Google Earth. And of course, I had to go find it for myself. It's right here. But as I was checking it out, I thought to myself, well, where there's one, there's got to be more, right? Well, look right above it. 1, 2. 2 more pyramids. From there, it was over. I was up all night, scanning the entire ocean floor. And what I found absolutely blew my mind. That there were large clusters of what could be potential pyramids at the depths of the ocean all over the world. And I mean thousands of them. Do you see it? As I was scanning the ocean floor the other night, I spotted this. So I zoomed in on it. To me, it looks just like the statues of giants from Easter Island. Then I spotted another face right next to it, surrounded by idols. Check them out. Look at that one's definitive. There's another one. But the most interesting part, the statues I found were just north of Hawaii, over 4,000 miles away from Easter Island. But I wanted more evidence, so I went back to Easter Island and checked around it. Notice these circular structures. A number of them, blurred out. And sure enough, blurred out, another one, another one, another one. They're a circular structure with a peak at the top. So I came to the conclusion that this civilization of people existed here and north of Hawaii. So I thought to myself, they had to travel to get there. What path did they take? So after coming to the conclusion that the same people that lived on Easter Island also lived north of Hawaii, I figured they must have traveled to get there. So I looked closely and look at this. The path heads west and north. Not only that, they actually had a path going from Easter Island back to South America. You can literally see the beaten path going to the land. Then I quickly noticed that looks like around the area of Peru. And that's when my light bulb just went off. If you didn't know this, Paracas, Peru is where Julio Tello in 1928 discovered over 300 elongated skulls on a desert peninsula. So I bet you know what I did next. Paracas, Peru. What a coincidence. Straight to it. The elongated skull people of Paracas, Peru were probably behind the pyramids and the large idols. Oh, and one last thing. Don't their statues kind of resemble something found on Mars?
Conspiracy theory that you 1000% believe in.
Ancient advanced civilizations that existed before the oceans, part 2. Do you see it? As I was scanning the ocean floor the other night, I spotted this. So I zoomed in on it. To me, it looks just like the statues of giants from Easter Island. Then I spotted another face right next to it, surrounded by idols. Check them out. Look at that one's definitive. There's another one. But the most interesting part, the statues I found were just north of Hawaii, over 4,000 miles away from Easter Island. But I wanted more evidence, so I went back to Easter Island and checked around it. Notice these circular structures. A number of them, blurred out. And sure enough, blurred out, another one, another one, another one. They're a circular structure with a peak at the top. So I came to the conclusion that this civilization of people existed here and north of Hawaii. So I thought to myself, they had to travel to get there. What path did they take? Part 3.
What's a conspiracy theory that you 1000% believe in?
Ancient civilizations that existed before the oceans, part 3. So after coming to the conclusion that the same people that lived on Easter Island also live north of Hawaii, I figured they must have traveled to get there. So I look closely and look at this. The path heads west and north. Not only that, they actually had a path going from Easter Island back to South America. You can literally see the beaten path going to the land. Then I quickly noticed that looks like around the area of Peru. And that's when my light bulb just went off. If you didn't know this, Paracas, Peru is where Julio Tello in 1928 discovered over 300 elongated skulls on a desert peninsula. So I bet you know what I did next. Paracas, Peru. What a coincidence. Straight to it. The elongated skull people of Paracas, Peru were probably behind the pyramids and the large idols. Oh, and one last thing. Don't their statues kind of resemble something found on Mars?
There's also a rapper that predicted coronavirus
Who?
in 2013. You know that?
Who's that?
Dr. Creep.
I never heard of it.
Because, bro, this guy, hold on, I gotta read out the lyrics because this is crazy.
In a song or just like said it?
His song is literally called Pandemic.
What the fuck?
This is in 2013. Hold on. So this is the lyrics. The virus is harvesting. What do you mean? Begin life in a lab in the war of vaccines.
Life in the lab of the first war with vaccines. Niggas died in the first week of the pandemic dreams.
Goes on.
Yeah.
And then at the end of the song, he says, 2020 combined with coronavirus, body stacking.
Nah.
Happens 2020 combined with coronavirus, body stacking.
Let me see that. Let me see that.
Body stacking.
Yo, what the fuck?
2020 coronavirus, body stacking.
This is
bro.
from 2013 though?
Yes.
No way.
Yes, bro.
June 21st, 2013. What the fuck?
Dr. Creep.
Is he still alive?
He is.
What the fuck?
But you know what? I saw, because I researched him more. I'm like, there has to be a reason why this guy